faith, every spiritual tradition has practices and creative rituals and ceremonies to help us remember what matters, to reconnect us. And in the Buddhist tradition, the kind of key teaching and ceremony is around what's called the Three Refuges. And we're going to be exploring them. They're really archetypal pathways, because you can find them really, these gateways back to what we love. You can find them in every tradition in some form. And they give us a way, these three refuges, these three ways of paying attention, of reconnecting with what we love, of kind of homecoming. We move from this egoic contraction where we're living in this story of a limited self back to a sense of real belonging. The third refuge in Buddhism is called Buddha, and that is really refuge in awareness itself, in that ever-present, luminous wakefulness that's right here. We take refuge in the Buddha in an outer way by taking refuge in some embodiment of awareness, some being where you can sense awareness is really bright and present. And it could be in the historical Buddha or Christ or the Bodhisattva of compassion, Divine Mother, some wise and loving teacher. It may be that you have a reflection where you have a sense of your own high self, your being when you're really awake, or I sometimes call the future self, where you've really embodied an awakened heart. So we bring to mind some figure where there's that awakened heart mind, and by reflecting on that, this is the outer refuge, it helps us to sense in a very direct way how that's living within us. The inner refuge in Buddha nature is directly in awareness. Now the challenge is most of the time we're living in a story about ourselves, and that story separates us from the direct experience of awareness. So refuge in Buddha nature, refuge in this awakened mind and heart, we do it any way that we can let go of the stories and open up to what's here. Now, one way that I like to help get a glimpse is with a very simple exercise. And you can try it. It'll just take 10 seconds, okay? You ready? It's funny how when we think we're going to do an exercise, all of a sudden we sit up straighter. Okay, here it is. You can close your eyes if you'd like. That might help. For the next 10 or 15 seconds, try not to be aware. Try not to be aware. Keep trying not to be aware. What we find is that awareness is just always there. We're paying attention to the objects, we're paying attention to our thoughts or to the images that we're seeing or to the sounds. So we're not noticing that which is perceiving. It's like watching a movie, but not being aware of the projector or even the mind of the one who created the movie, because we're fixated on the screen, okay? So what we're really learning with refuge in awareness is to turn back and start noticing that cognizance, that wakefulness, the light of awareness that's always here. So I think that's enough words. We'll practice this last refuge and pause and sense yourself right here. What lets you know that you're right here? You might call on a figure first. This is the outer approach that expresses the enlightened heart mind. Might be an image of the Buddha, the Bodhisattva of compassion, or being that you sense is very awake. Awakened heart, awakened mind. It might be an image of your own being in the future, when you're feeling that you're more embodying love and embodying wisdom. So let that figure, that image be right here of an enlightened being. And just allow that radiant openness to surround you. Imagine the mind of this awakened being, the vastness and lucidity. Imagine the heart of this being, that tenderness. And let that fill you with warmth and sensitivity. Direct attention inward and see how that tender, radiant, all-inclusive awareness is living inside you. Feel your body, heart, and mind light up as if the sunlit sky is suffusing every cell of your body and shining through the spaces between the cells. Listening to the whole moment, feeling the whole moment. Sensing this awareness is experiencing the changing flow, moment to moment, of life. What is this awareness like? This background of stillness and awakeness, of silence. Just letting go into the awareness, the open wakefulness, the mystery that's here. Rest your heart in it. Sri Ramakrishna says, "O longing mind, dwell within the depth of your own pure nature. Do not seek your home elsewhere. Your naked awareness alone, O mind, is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long." We're on a path of forgetting and remembering. And these pathways to sacred presence help us to remember more and more, so our life becomes real life. Refuge in truth, this very moment, in love, and in the awareness, the vastness and wakefulness that's our home.